Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me Shekhar Iyer as we look at the new battles emerging in the election fronts, and is Modi trying to bury the opposition? What are all the things that are happening? And we're also going to give you some deep insight on specific constituencies as well as states. So let's welcome Shekhar Iyer. Shekhar ji, Ram Ram, Namaskar. How are you?
Namaskar, Namaskar, Ram Ram, Sree Iyer Ram Ram.
So Shekhar ji, wanting to crush the opposition by the incumbent government, nothing new. What makes you think that this is something unusual, sir?
Well, sir, I'm not saying that that is what is exactly happening, or that is the plan of the Prime Minister. But a narrative has been rolled out now, following the arrest of Arvind Kejriwal, that the democracy is in greater danger than hitherto because of Arvind Kejriwal's arrest. This is the narrative now that is being peddled by the Congress, by all the opposition parties who have come together on Arvind Kejriwal with the ادھیرکل case. And even Congress party leaders who had, in fact, when the excise scam surfaced, many Congress leaders who called for action on Arvind Kejriwal are today supporting him. They see in his arrest a great pattern, a pattern where they feel that every institution, law enforcement agencies are out to fix the opposition so that the opposition is in no position to fight the battle. Now, along with this, they are trying to show that the Congress problems with the income tax, which is not a new one, it has been going on for a long time. And that also they are trying to show that problems from starting from 94, 95 has got something to do with this whole grand Modi plan, that the accounts have been frozen. This narrative is now being pushed by many of the opposition backing so-called intellectuals, columnists, everybody. And this whole idea is to probably get the attention of the Western the governments also, to show that this election will appear to be uh, free, but will not be fair, because there will not be a level playing field, as it were, because Congress says its funds are all frozen, quote unquote. There is no freeze as such, excepting that income tax wants them to pay their penalty plus interest first before you use up whatever money is coming into your account. And in the case of Kejriwal, now the timing of the arrest is actually decided by Kejriwal, because it was Kejriwal who avoided the 9 summons and finally thought, if with the elections being called, the dates being given, that the agencies will not arrest him. Rather, he was surprised by the fact that as soon as he didn't get any stay order from the Delhi High Court, within a couple of hours, the ED was at his doorstep, asking him first to join in the investigation. Later, they decided to arrest him because he was not cooperating, and they found his residence is not the best place to question him. Now, after that, you have seen the drama out on the streets, all opposition coming to his aid, including Rahul Gandhi. And then today, we saw his wife, Sunita Kejriwal, who is getting ready to step into his shoes, as it were. Now, she read out a letter from Arvind Kejriwal to the people of Delhi, saying that they should all pray for him, that he has been punished and he has done so much of work for them. So, the idea is to show that Modi is using all power at his command to crush the opposition because he fears defeat in the Lok Sabha election. Sir.
So she is Rabari Devi version 2.0.
Maybe a better version, because she's also educated and she can.
Was she an IRS officer
very
too?
political. She's
Is
also
she an
very
IRS
political.
officer too?
She was. I don't think she's still serving. And so the whole thing that what we are seeing is the ground being prepared to take these elections, realizing that the outcome, as we have been always saying, outcome of the 2024 elections appears to be foregone, in the sense that the Prime Minister will come back. It's only the question of the magnitude of the mandate. We have been saying this. Now, but this narrative, sir, I think why I thought we should talk about this narrative, because this narrative is going to see a lot of the Western governments again poking their nose into our elections. You have seen how Kejriwal's arrest prompted the German Foreign Office to come with a comment that that Kejriwal gets the benefit of the judicial system and that the things are free and fair. I mean, he gets a fair trial. That was immediately objected to by our government, and we had the German envoy being summoned to the Ministry of External Affairs and conveyed India's strongest protest because the German comments were seen as a direct interference in our elections. Now, I'm expecting other governments also to follow suit. And the whole idea of the opposition and their activist friends and NGOs is to show that, because since they can't defeat Modi in the elections, to show that these elections have not been fair, and that is why this talk about EVM is back, because they say there is no 100% VVPAT. So actually they are not preparing to fight the elections. They are preparing for the aftermath of the elections, where they can say that the mandate that Modi gets, even if it's a larger mandate, it's not a legitimate mandate. So if in 2014 Modi was accused of using a jumla to win elections, now they want to say that he has used the system, he has paralyzed the opposition and struck them just before elections so that they don't have the wherewithal to fight the elections to reach out to people. Sir.
Shekharji, a couple of things here. One guest had come on our channel about a couple of years ago and had mentioned that Angela Merkel turned pro-China because she successfully underwent an organ transplant surgery in China. We all know that today the world's most advanced organ transplant technology is in China. And this was considered to be one of those things where Germany turned decisively pro-China. And this guy, the current chancellor, I don't know what, I think is chancellor, he is handpicked successor to Angela Merkel. So in other words, that shadow is still, she's casting a large shadow on Germany. As far as Germany's economy is concerned, it's one of the worst affected, and because of her decision to open the borders for immigrants, they have completely lost the plot. We don't see much of the information here, but Germany has been quietly deporting a lot of the immigrants who are coming in trains, and then in fact Angela had even alleged to have paid the Turkish Erdogan a lot of money to keep them in Turkey, not to let the illegals out. Initially she laid out the red carpet, then within 6 months she realized these are not people who have skill set for working in Germany. Sir, today I'm telling you, the last time I went to Germany was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Even then, right, any fast food store, any store, anything, right, no Germans are able to man any of these shelves. It's all foreigners, East Europeans and Turkish and many others who could have some command of the English language as well as the German language. What used to be West Germany, the three portions of Germany that got carved up after Second World War, they speak English, mainly because UK was there and US was there. All I'm saying is some of these things have to be brought out by India also. Come on, start playing on the front foot. These are all information. If I know so much, surely the MEA knows a lot more. What business does Germany have to comment about one 2-bit politician who's a liar extraordinaire getting arrested?
There is a script, the baking. I mean, you can see that Kejriwal is arrested, the NGOs and activists and intellectuals, immediately write columns and say that, look, this is the ultimate thing. This is going to, mean that there will be no more opponents in the Modi's regime in the scheme of things. They will have to either submit or they will be completely neutralized, the way Kejriwal is being. But if you look at the way the cases happen now and the Kejri's arrest has happened now, that has a lot to do with Kejriwal himself choosing to avoid summons. If he had taken it head on in November, probably it did not have dragged up to the doorsteps of this election. Rather, he could have even got relief earlier. So the problem is they are not able to get relief in the courts. And that is why you had a delegation of opposition leaders, including Congress, 𝗤𝗏 Party, going to the Election Commission yesterday and asking Election Commission to intervene and stop the investigative agencies from doing the work in the course of the election period. I mean, please, I mean, since you have all the powers, you stop it. Somewhere along the frustration is building up. And along with the frustration, there is a sense of, I can see a dismay among the supporters of the opposition. I mean, be they are journalists, writers, left-leaning thinkers, all those, the entire what we would call their ecosystem, as they tend to call all others as part of the ecosystem of the current establishment. Now, but after all, it was Kejriwal who delayed it. Sir, when Manish Sisodia submitted to ED summon, when Sanjay Singh submitted, and it was Kejriwal himself who predicted that ED is going to arrest Manish Sisodia, then he predicted Sanjay Singh. And after they got in and they could not come out because of the kind of evidence that ED managed to collect and show it before the court. Even in the case of Kejriwal, we saw that yesterday they in fact he challenged his summon before the Delhi High Court, and the Delhi High Court asked the ED, why are you going on issuing summons to Kejriwal? Why don't you arrest him? They said, we have power to summon him, so we are summoning him. But what about his arrest if you want him for questioning? Because normally ED has the power to arrest if they have got the money trail under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, when the judges peruse through the files that the ED produced before them in their chambers, they refused to pass any order. In the sense, they refused to give any relief to Kejriwal. It was then that Kejriwal did not realize, even then he did not realize that this would mean actually ED right away moving in. And that's what exactly happened. And Kejriwal was surprised that the ED guys turned up at his house in the evening. And we saw all the drama. And, sir.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, sir, the whole thing is, it is Kejriwal who has brought his arrest close to the elections. And also, there are many people who view that in streets of Delhi yesterday, from whatever reports that are emerging, there is a mixed feeling to his arrest. There are people who have benefited from his government's policy of free electricity, improvement in school education, which was a legacy of Manish Sisodia. And some of the beneficiaries were not very happy that Kejriwal has been arrested. They didn't know why he has been arrested. But there were also others saying that there is something wrong. Otherwise, why would ED go and catch him? For the voters of Delhi, it is between Modi and Kejriwal. And Kejriwal has been, his tactics of confusion, his tactics of, trying to play one up another. Then within the party, he has not allowed any second level leadership to come up after Manish Sisodia was arrested. 𝗤𝘗𝙗, his minister, has been on the forefront, and everybody says she is number 2, but I do not know whether she is accepted in the party as number 2. Now, in all this scenario, there are two ways, this whole arrest could go. He gets a lot of sympathy and helps 𝗤𝗏 Party, or people do not empathize with politicians who are caught in cases of corruption. Now, sir, in this very case, what do we see? It's all got to do with that excise policy, which I thought we must just as well, just recall. The whole thing is about an excise policy. In the city state of Delhi, the liquor distribution is handled by the state government through its Delhi Industrial, Corporation. They have their outlets throughout Delhi. Now, in 2021, he decided to change the policy. And that policy was changed to ensure there were more number of retail outlets, even in neighborhood areas, even in localities where where there are no commercial establishment, but allowing for opening up of outlets like any other retail, your shops are selling general provisions. Because one aspect of the policy was to enable women to access these outlets without harassment, without fear or embarrassment or anything. Normally, liquor shops are all over the country. They are behind collapsible gates, or the whole. They sell liquor from behind the counter, which are well protected, because to avoid crowds crashing in or somebody walking in with a bottle or two without making a payment. I mean, you have always seen that the sales happen through the collapsible gates, which are slightly kept open to to pay the money and purchase the bottle. Now, this policy itself said, sir, what has come out is now that it provided for a margin of 12% for wholesalers and nearly 185% for retailers. And the contracts were given for retailers as well as wholesalers. And of that 12%, 6% was to come back as kickback to the 𝗏 Aadmi Party, according to ED. And the money came back. And this so-called southern lobby or the southern cartel of distributors, manufacturers and others, they gave an advance of 100 crore to 𝗏 Aadmi Party through an aide of Kejriwal, that is Vijay Nair, who was also working for Manish Sisodia. So he was directly linked to 𝗏. Then after that, what we hear, that many of the transactions happened after there was consultation between the so-called agents of the southern group. Kavita, the BRS leader, daughter of KCR, was also an important party in many of these discussions. Some of these discussions were videographed by the people who acted in between. Now, as a counter, sir, today 𝗏 Aadmi Party has been engaged in a counter. And that counter is also a very, very interesting counter to say that it's not we who are involved in this whole thing. Because the ED's charges, the money came in especially for meeting the 𝗏 Aadmi Party's expenses in Goa as well as in Punjab. And some of the money was all sent straight to Goa through Hawala transactions or whatever. Now, the counter that has come is 𝗒𝘃ci has today given a counter saying that, see, one of the firm that is linked, that is Aurobindo Pharma, director one Sharat Chandra Reddy, who was also arrested in this case in November last year, rather in November 2022, and he had donated to BJP through electoral bonds. I mean, this is their counter. And then initially he had refused to come under the pressure to name Kejriwal being present in those discussions. And so he was put in jail for a long time. Then after some time he changed the statement, then he was released on bail. And then and Aurobindo Pharma, that company, between April 2021 and November 2023 gave 52 crores to be through the electoral bonds to BJP. And it also gave some money to TDP and BRS, etc. Now, purchasing of electoral bonds and then payment to a party for a policy, the evidences of which the ED is now using against Kejriwal, your Manish Sisodia as well as Sanjay Singh. So the electoral bond is seen as a way which BJP collected funds, whereas 𝗏 Aadmi Party was not involved in that. Therefore, we are. Now, what has happened is, sir, in the last 24 hours, we have seen all the old videos of Kejriwal attacking the Congress for corruption, including Sonia Gandhi, has come out. Also, videos of Congress leaders saying that action should be taken on Kejriwal in this liquor scam. That is also surfaced. But one thing is very clear: Arvind Kejriwal can either, turn this whole thing into a massive exercise in sympathy and get the voters of Delhi to convey a message that what has happened to him is just, is very unfair, very unjust. Maybe he can take that way. But my question is, would the government not factor all this, or is the Prime Minister or the BJP strategists, if they were involved in the timing of these arrests, have they not factored this as account that could be a sympathy factor for Kejriwal? Or is the BJP willing to take that risk and say, what sympathy wave? But at the same time, I am told they have given instructions to a number of their functionaries, BJP particularly, not to say anything that will evoke sympathy further. Rather, battle it out in terms of explain what this scam is about. I'm told they are getting ready with their booklets, even as Aam Aadmi Party has decided to organize protest in all the 70 constituencies of Delhi. So it's also a battle of perception. It's a battle of trying to convince the voters as to what is a scam and what is not a scam. Shreyarji.
Thank you so much, sir. The takeaway here is BJP's messaging has to be very effective. How well they take the point of why he was arrested. I mean, Sisodia has been there for a long time now. This is going to be the key there to make sure that there is no loss in vote share because of this thing, that sympathy wave doesn't hurt their chances, not just in Delhi, but also in Punjab. Shekharji, my 2 cents about all this stuff is that Modi's government is convinced that they have done enough in terms of development at the most fundamental level for the people, that alone has taken front stage. See, we used to be like this. We used to vote emotionally. We said, oh, something wrong happened, therefore, sympathy wave and things like that. But think about it, sir. They have already arrested Kavita Rao because they think BRS is down and dusted for this round. And now they have taken Aam Aadmi Party also. So there is some calculus that has convinced the Prime Minister that this is not going to hurt his electoral chances. Also, take a look at the other thing, Shekharji. Today, the community at large, 2024, is more listening to YouTube than to television channels. Somewhere they have figured out that one investment of 1 hour to watch a program where it's a shoutathon, as opposed to on the YouTube where you can sit and watch it anytime you want. You may have preferences, you may have silos, but at least you will be able to get to know what the in-depth matter is. And a white-collar crime like what has happened in Kerala, and to a certain extent in the sand mafia in Tamil Nadu, is where the government itself is sticking it to itself by not collecting taxes, giving it to the retailer and getting kickbacks from it. So these kinds of things where you are fundamentally, hitting away at the tax infrastructure of the country, that is a no-no. There is a line there, but all this has to be effectively communicated. And I'm still waiting. I still don't understand why some fiery speakers like Smriti Irani and Nirmala Sitharaman cannot be used for this by the BJP as spokespersons for the next 6 weeks. Let them go back and get reappointed afterwards.
No, sir. Smriti Irani has already done the briefing. I mean, she has already done one briefing on the Delhi story. I mean, yesterday, in fact, she came to answer the Arvind Kejriwal's charges. And BJP has been talking about this scam, and the whole thing, the evidence was building up, rather. And Kejriwal thought that Modi dare not arrest him. See, that was his whole calculation was Modi will not dare to arrest him. And he thought that is why he kept on putting conditions. I will come after the election dates are announced. I will come after, and I will appear before ED through video conferencing. I will not go to the video office. But he found that on Thursday, he could not do anything. Rather, they were at his door. Now, sir, the whole problem is also about what is going to happen to his party. Can his party stay united? Because right now we are seeing only two leaders doing a lot of talking. Particularly what is Atishi, who is seen as, originally she was seen as an acolyte of Manish Sisodia. And today she has been, in fact, from the day Even right from Thursday night, she was out on the streets and um, trying to egg on the Aam Aadmi protesters to get more aggressive. And she was giving statements to the media saying that this is a grossly unjust thing that has happened and that Kejriwal has been arrested, but Kejriwal will function from the jail. He will not resign as chief minister. Now, after those statements, another petition has been filed in Delhi High Court questioning the continuance of Arvind Kejriwal as chief minister. That's another petition that has been filed. But if it doesn't get any further relief, because he has again filed a petition today, rather Saturday, seeking urgent hearing from Delhi High Court on his detention. But Delhi High Court refused to have any urgent hearing on Sunday. They said we'll hear it after the holy recess that has happened now. The courts will meet on Wednesday. That's the time when they will hear the pleas, his plea. So if he does not get relief from the court, a big question mark arises over his continuation as Chief Minister of Delhi. In which case, Kejriwal has to come up with some alternative plan B rather. Will he be willing to hand over to any of his leaders? Well, we have been hearing about Sunita Kejriwal's name for quite some time. And the way she has come out, yesterday she had given a statement, today she came out with a video statement asking people to go to the temples and pray for her husband. So you can see there is an emotional appeal, there is an appeal where the element of faith and religion are being evoked. So you can see the crisis that Aam Aadmi Party also faces if Kejriwal continues to be in jail and does not get relief. Of course, this is the time again your fresh questions are being asked about provisions of the PMLA which were upheld by the Supreme Court. All the debate has again started just to show that the current regime is very regressive, current regime is out to get at rivals. And at the same time, we have heard the Prime Minister speak in all his public meetings and the rallies he held last week, where he said no question of compromise on corruption, which means Prime Minister is willing to take the plank of anti-corruption to the maximum, potential that that plank can have, to take it to its optimum utilization and say, look, I'm acting against corruption no matter who it is. And he has been saying that seldom has this happened before that any politician has been brought to book. But that is being termed by the opposition as, it's acting against us. Even the income tax case, sir, against the Congress, you see, all this was going on in the courts. They were paying penalty, which means they accepted that they have not followed the rules. Sir, for our simple understanding, a party is allowed exemption from income tax on its earnings if it files regularly, if it makes regular filings before the income tax department saying, giving details of the funds received, how it has received. But if it fails to give file returns, then it is subjected to being penalized for the amount it has collected, which will not be treated as an income tax, tax-free income. And this has been going on and they kept quiet. Like just I was looking at what exactly is this case, and he does and you had the other day Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, the entire leadership come out and say, look, we don't have money at all. We can't even buy train ticket. That was what Rahul Gandhi said. The Congress, it is not that the Congress has been left without funds, but they have to pay penalty, which would happen to anybody. Which means the opposition feels that because it is election time, because they are in a big business of opposing Modi, they should not be subject to any scrutiny at this juncture. Whereas these cases have been going on from 94, 95. These tax matters have been pending. And in 97, sir, the income tax tribunal did not give them relief. They went to High Court also. And in that particular case itself, they went on appeal and they didn't get relief. Then as for reopening of, the tax assessment between 2014 and 2017, the income tax found in its investigation and its raids that Congress associates in Madhya Pradesh as well as in Karnataka, and they collected money in the manner which raised questions, and a lot of cash was also collected. And they moved the court, and that matter is pending for the last 7 years. In the meantime, you have to keep paying the penalty. Similarly, the tax case of 2018-19, where they claimed exemption for 199 crores, and exemption was sought, but that was not given, and 105 crore was sought by the income tax as penalty. They again moved the tribunal, and the tribunal said, no, you have to pay 135 crores because that includes the penalty. So that is where all these matters stands. And even the last time they have again gone, a day ago, they didn't get relief. That they are blaming it on the Prime Minister, whereas it has been a long process that has been going on, and their income tax department and the Congress have been engaged. They have gone to IT tribunals, they have gone to the High Court. But still the plea is that this is another way of Modi is crushing the opposition, that to the main opposition party. Sir, all I'm asking is that does election period mean that none of the agencies should work? Whatever is happening in the courts against the opposition party should cease? Is it or does the Congress really expect something from the BJP? Okay, you got so much in through electoral bond, give some of that money for us to us so that we'll fight you. Sometimes the arguments are given in a very what should I say, in a very bizarre way. But the ecosystem is active, sir. I won't be surprised in a day or two you hear from US State Department saying something about Indian elections, or the Canadian government talking something about Indian elections. But I think these governments be beware, because if such comments are made on the Indian elections, the Prime Minister Modi is not going to forgive them after he comes back. And they all have a lot of huge interests in this in India's investments, India's the deals that they have already secured for purchase of a lot of defense items. And all that could be in jeopardy if they think that they can squeeze Modi by using this opposition outcry and outrage. So,
Thank you, sir. And I fully expect and concur with what you said, that Department of State will have something to say. However, there have been many people now pointing out the holes in their arguments and their suppositions. So there's also this factor of a counter polarization. Shekharji, they have lost credibility a long time ago, whether it is New York Times or Washington Post or Guardian or BBC. They've all lost their credibility because they have tried to say something that was patently untrue. And who are they going to be able to impact with all these narratives? The people who watch those people or read those magazines and newspapers. That's just the English-speaking crowd in India. That has always been 50-50. It's never been completely with BJP. What are you going to do to tell the rural people in India, which is probably 60 to 65% of the electorate, that what is going on is wrong? That's where things go wrong. In 75, what Indira Gandhi, in my opinion, did wrong wasn't even the emergency itself, but it was the forced sterilization. That's the one that really scared people, in my opinion, sir. I could be wrong. You've seen through that era. Can you tell us what went wrong there? But this thing where Modi is saying, I'm after corruption, that's going to resonate with the public.
indeed, I mean, these situations are not comparable. I mean, the post after the lifting of emergency, the situation that prevailed then, and where a ragtag opposition came together, all parties came together following an appeal given by Jayaprakash Narayan, and Jansangh merged in this new party that was formed to take on Indira Gandhi-led Congress. As you mentioned, Nashbandi played a very big part. because the fertilization, forced fertilization, particularly among the minorities, that had a big effect. Apart from that, there were a lot of other repressive measures that were taken. But the fact that so many opposition leaders were in jail, not because they had indulged in corruption, there were no specific case. They were all taken under Misa, Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Some of them were taken into custody under Defense of India rules. And they were put in for 19 months without trial or anything, not being produced anywhere. So when they were released, it was felt that Indira Gandhi acted very arbitrarily, because soon after she got a setback in the Allahabad High Court judgment, and the whole emergency was to overcome that situation. And today, if you compare it with what has happened today, yes, there are the statistic that is being produced by opposition is why the ED has not gone after a single BJP leader. Why all these cases have been tackled? And they are using the information that has come out following the Supreme Court's order on the electronic bonds as a proof that the corporates paid for quid pro quo without battling an eyelid about the fact that they also received funds. And if you look at the proportion in which they have received, I'm not talking of the quantum. Just BJP, which is power in center and so many states, if they collected 6,000 crores, and Trinamool Congress, being power in only one state, collected 1,600 crores, and Congress equally did well, at least close to 1,300 crores. If there was quid pro quo in the BJP case, what was the deal in which the Trinamool managed to get such a huge amount compared to BJP being all over? Even these electronic bonds, sir, what I can see is that there is an attempt to show that the funds that have come to BJP are the result of deals. Whereas what went to Congress and Trinamool and other parties is by way of a donation, simple donation. I don't think that is going to effectively be a counter argument. No, I'm not talking about whether the system of bonds was a very proper thing. Supreme Court struck it down. But there are other opinions that having struck down, what is the alternative? We are going to go back to the earlier system of black money being used. And even with election bonds, we saw that huge cash seizures being made. Case of 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙀, the Congress MP in Jharkhand, 250 crores. And what about an average 50 crore seizures from ministers of Mamata Banerjee, one after another? So that's a different story. But the argument that is being used is, if we have been caught in specific cases, BJP has got it there, and BJP, there is nothing happening to BJP. Sir, instead of answering these questions on this particular scam, people are asking why BJP is not caught. It's like if one person is caught in a matter of corruption or theft, he says, look, why are you catching me? There are so many people who have not been caught. That will not be an argument. Fact is that you have been caught. And excise policy is a clear case of quid pro quo. So we can see that one attempt is to dilute the argument of the Prime Minister that opposition governments were indulging in corruption by pointing at the election bonds, because that seems to be the purpose behind getting the details of these election bonds. Just to focus on the BJP and see from whom did the BJP collect, but they are yet to show what is the benefit they have given. Simply getting a contract or a project through open tender system may not be enough to establish that there was a quid pro quo. But it is also a fact companies contribute. They have contributed. The very companies that gave to BJP have given to the Congress also, including that Bega Engineering. So this election is going to see a lot of this kind of details being thrown at each other, and people will be left confused as to what exactly is happening. What is corruption and what is not corruption? What is a valid political donation and what is not a donation? or that all donations are actually a matter of corruption, then should we go back to a situation where when Indira Gandhi had followed the Indira Gandhi's line when she had banned donation, corporate donation to all parties? Sir.
We can go on. I think the underlying question here is they are desperate to try and find something, some mud to hit Modi government with, and to try and hope that it will stick. And that is not happening. We have tried so many different ways and nothing has really worked. So I pointed to the lack of caliber in the opposition. And that is the fundamental thing. You need to have credibility. If Jayaprakash Narayan said go and cause a revolution, he had credibility. So did Morarji Desai and so many other people. That was what was, instrumental then. Now these people are all, they're all corrupt to the core. They are willing to do whatever it takes. And that's where the problem is, that credibility is missing. Anyway, this is my 2 cents, sir. Sir, we have one more topic to talk about today. We are already well into 40 minutes. And this has been a very, revealing session here. So let's talk about Maharashtra update. What is happening there? How do the chances of BJP look there, sir?
Well, sir, the seat adjustment talks are still in rough weather. And already you are seeing, because of the delay, I mean, the problem is both in the BJP led alliance as well as in Mahavikas Aghadi. In Mahavikas Aghadi, you have seen Uddhav Thackeray announce candidates for many places where the Congress has taken claim. They are still trying to sort it out. And similar thing is happening in the BJP alliance also. Now, the 𝗥𝙧𝙤𝙪 party Sena, some of the leaders of 𝗥𝙧𝙤𝙪 Sena, they are saying we will contest in those places where the NCP has made up its mind to contest. Like even in Baramati, where Ajit Pawar is getting his wife Sudhitra to contest against his cousin Supriya Sule in Baramati. Supriya Sule is the sitting member of parliament for Baramati. Now the Shinde's faction leader has now said, look, I am going to contest there. We are taking claim. So one can see that so many of claims being made to constituencies which are being sorted by parties in this alliance as well as in that alliance. And finally, when the list is able to come out, because I am told the BJP Central Election Committee is again meeting, today, the Saturday night as well, and maybe early Sunday morning also. And finally, they have to come out with names. But we are already seeing that even if the names come out, there could be many candidates, who may not follow their respective parties' agreed formula and put up candidates. And that could lead to even more a confusing scenario. So this is about Maharashtra, sir, which I thought, because these are areas where we are seeing, and in many places candidates are withdrawing. In many places, named like, for instance, the BJP candidate in Vadodara has said she doesn't want to contest. Similarly, other things have happened. Now, the developments in Himachal Pradesh is also very interesting, sir, because the by-elections have been announced for those 6 places from where the 6 sitting MLAs were expelled from the assembly because Sukhvinder Sikhu had to win the vote of confidence and allow the passage of budget. Now, those 6 MLAs who were expelled have now joined the BJP, and they could be contesting in those places as BJP candidates. That could result, if it goes in favor of BJP, that could alter the numbers in Himachal Pradesh, which means Sukhu's days could be numbered. And Pratibha Singh, who is the Himachal Pradesh Congress Committee chief, she has refused to contest the election, saying the whole situation is such, I don't want to contest. And you saw that one of a very important key member of the Rahul Gandhi's team, Rohan Gupta, who was allotted the Congress seat from Ahmedabad East, he has refused to contest, saying that his father got very upset because his father, a Congress leader, had faced similar situation. And his father told him, look, there will be several people out in our party to defeat you, don't contest. Now, Rohan Gupta was handling the social media for the Congress. He has made several tweets against the Prime Minister Modi. And today he has said that he is quit from the primary. He refused to contest first. Now he has quit from the primary membership of the party, saying that because I cannot support my party because they were silent when Sanatan Dharma was attacked. So you are seeing another situation, sir, where the candidates have been decided. They don't want to contest if it is against the BJP because they fear losing. And with this, all this talk of candidates facing crash crunch, because the Congress party publicizing about its cash issues because of income tax action is largely to convey to party leaders and candidates, look, we will not be able to fund you. Look for, take care of yourself. So this is an election where opposition already finds its house in total disarray, and also individual candidates losing the morale to fight the elections. What can the Prime Minister do in this situation? Well, I do not know if the Western governments can understand this situation, or they would think this is all Modi is making. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And this is not an easy problem for the opposition to solve. They don't have money. Shekharji, I just want to draw parallels to 2014. In 2014 also, the Congress had let their MP contestants to spend on their own from their pocket. They said they had no money. That kind of rankles me because for 10 years they were in power. How come they said there was no money at that time, sir?
So the standard operating procedure in the Congress has always been the Congress leaders never encourage the funds being given to the party directly. They would always say, give something to the party and we'll give it to us. So that gives them the kind of clout in the party. That's why you have a DK Shivkumar, you had a Kamal Nath. All those leaders who had that clout was largely because of the financial resources they could command. Even today, if DK Shivkumar, who could not become Chief Minister of Karnataka and had to work under Siddaramaiah, and is hoping one day he will upset Siddaramaiah and become Chief Minister of Karnataka, the clout that DK Shivkumar enjoys today is largely because the fund base that he controls. Now, this has been a standard practice, sir, not today. I think probably Indira Gandhi also encouraged leaders who could mobilize funds. That's how corruption got ingrained in the Indira Gandhi system of things. If Abdul Rahman Antule started that Indira Gandhi Pratibha Pratishthan, and where funds were collected for issuing of cement quota, A.R. Antule was even faced inquiry and investigation, where funds were, people were made to donate to that Pratibha Pratishthan funds, which was run by him. And then the cement quotas were given. Those were days of severe shortage of cement. That became a big investigative story. So since then you have seen the Congress party has encouraged leaders who have funds, who mobilize funds, and not necessarily give all of it to the party. The party would have some funds, but largely it was individual leaders who managed. And we have known leaders like Sharad Pawar used to fund not only the candidates of his own party, but also candidates of his other friendly parties. So that in any eventuality where the question of staking claim to any post, he would have MLAs across the board who would speak for him because he has helped them in fighting the elections. Sir.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. This is a bold plan by the Modi government, especially by Modi, to go after some of these corrupt leaders and to try and prove to people unless you hit at corruption, you're not going to make progress. So that's a very powerful statement. It's perhaps a bit of a risky against move, but I think the people also have become more understanding now. It's not that raw emotion doesn't run anymore in people's veins. Oh, something bad happened to him, therefore I shall vote for him. I think this is just my read, sir. People are also skeptical, very leery of people, politicians, and they think that Modi at least is a little bit more honest and more, pro-development, pro-Hindutva, pro-India. So let's wait and see how this thing plays out. So we have a lot of questions from our viewers, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. There's one more thing that this Lalu's daughters are going to contest elections. That's also a point I think I must mention. Now, uh, the person who really provoked Prime Minister to say, Modi ka parivar, because Lalu tried to justify that how he has the first right to bring in more members of his family into politics. Already his two sons and a daughter. She is already a Rajya Sabha MP, Misa Bharti. Now I hear the latest is that he wants to introduce his another daughter, Tejasvi Yadav, former Deputy Chief Minister of Nitish Kumar. He is the leader of the opposition in Bihar Assembly. And Tej Pratap he was also a minister and he is there. The daughter Misa Bharati is a Rajya Sabha MP. Now he is going to introduce his fourth child, rather, his daughter Rohini Acharya, who used to be based in Singapore, who came into news because she's supposed to have donated a kidney to her father. Now our name is now figuring, is doing the rounds because Lalu is keeping his cards close to chest. He has not yet announced. So what we get to hear is Misa Bharati may be fielded from Pataliputra. That includes present Patna. And Rohini Acharya, she may be given the ticket to contest from Saran. And Rohini Acharya has been, you would have noticed, sir, she was present at the rally in Patliputra, in Patna, where Lalu took on the Prime Minister saying, since you don't have a family, you are against the Parivarvad. You are against dynastic politics. And Rohini Acharya was present there. And Rohini Acharya has been active on the social media, criticizing Nitish Kumar for dumping her father and going back to the BJP. So the latest I hear is he will field Rohini Acharya to contest from. Rohini Acharya will be a new entrant from the family, sir.
Yeah, well, best of luck. And I think this is a resounding statement here. You have to perform, otherwise you will perish. I think that is how I see even Modi sending Dr. L. Murugan back to contest the Lok Sabha elections. He was already in Rajya Sabha. He could have continued being a minister. But I think Modi has said, you need to win the confidence of the people. I think the same message has gone to Annamalai also. You have to win the confidence of the people, win an election. Same thing with 𝗤𝙗𝙗 Soundararajan. Same thing with Punnar. These people are, aspirants to some sort of a ministerial berth, representing Tamil Nadu at the center. They probably said, okay, fine, you resign your post as governor, go and contest elections, win, and then we will see. So there is this challenge also to all these people that getting a BJP ticket is not easy, and then you have to work hard in order to win. It's not going to be at every step your performance is going to be measured, and people know exactly how you're doing because there are people who are doing all this and more. So very interesting dynamics there. Whoever comes out of this probably is worthy of whatever they get after that. Let's take a quick look at some questions, sir. We have a lot of questions. I don't know how many we can make justice to. Let's just rifle through them quickly. Venkatraman Iyer wants to know, electoral bonds are possibly the cleanest way for donations to political parties. How can Congress and others in the Dot Alliance blame BJP when they've equally received funds? How fair is this?
Sir, exactly. I even wonder how you see, you did not oppose the passage of the legislation that brought in those election bonds. In fact, you happily cheered, the bite of Arun Jaitley, the then law minister, speaking in the House when he was moving the legislation, where he explained, look, we want to end this system of black money contribution. See, we brought in this system, a system where the contributors felt that if they should not be subject to vilification and retribution. If they gave one party more and another party less, for whatever reasons, or for their own political leanings or whatever, so they needed anonymity as a kind of a protection because they didn't want to face this problem. But things would be transparent because whoever purchased the bond will have to provide the KYC. The parties, after encashing the bond, would have to make a revelation to the Election Commission saying that this is the amount we have collected by encashing those bonds. And the bonds were always available only during the elections. Not that it was available throughout the year. It was available, the bonds always became made available by the State Bank of India just around election time, whether it is assembly elections or the parliamentary elections. And at the time when he said in the house, we wanted to ensure that by kuch opposition ko bhi paisa mil jaye. That's how he said it, and there was laughter and yeah, all around, Now, having received the money, bearing Communist Party of India Marxist, who opposed it on the floor of the house, said, no, we don't support this. This is not transparent. But rest all agreed. And then, having got the money, though their whole grouse was, BJP got so much, we got so less. That was the original complaint. And so some people have even tried to draw conclusion between the percentage of votes polled in their favor and the contributions that they have received. And they have found that by that formula also, Congress has got more than the percentage of polls it polled across the country. So now, having received the money, I do not know with what face or what, I don't know what to say, that they are now saying, look, what we got is a very honorable donations, and what the BJP received is all quid pro quo, and the volume is such because of only deals were struck. But it is not individual BJP ministers who were paid. Unlike the practice in the previous year, it was individual ministers whose palms had to be greased with only Amul butter, I think. And, and that is why so many scams happened. And the other news is, sir, good news for people who will feel that anti-corruption movement is again taking one step ahead. With Delhi High Court has accepted the CBI's plea to question the acquittal of A. Raja and Kanimuri and others in the 2G scam. They have accepted the CBI's petition challenging their acquittal. So that's another positive movement that has happened. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll take two more questions and then we can wrap it up. Two more questions, please. Just two more questions. Sarvani Tumuluri wants to know what is happening in Northeast. BJP is not contesting. Please shed some light on this.
No, sir. BJP will be very much contesting. Assam, Nagaland, and even Manipur, they will put up candidates. There are 2 seats from Manipur. Similarly, Tripura, they have deployed their former Chief Minister Biplab Deb to contest, though he is a Rajya Sabha member. They are contesting all the seats there. In the Northeast, there is no question of they are not contesting, sir.
Next one, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, why are foreign countries getting involved in India's internal affairs? Why does Germany have to respond to Kejriwal's arrest? Are they supporting corruption?
Well, they are not supporting corruption, but they are not supporting a stronger Modi. They feel that Modi's return with a larger mandate will mean India being more assertive, India's growth story getting more push, and eventually Prime Minister Modi being able to realize a number of his goals. Because this election, as the Prime Minister has been saying, is not about him getting not about just getting a mandate for a third term or to equalize the record of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who also got a third term. Rather, this is only about bringing a transformation in several sectors that would need a huge legislative backup, which a big mandate will ensure a smoother transition. Sir.
Next question, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Jai Shri Ram, opposition seems to feel that they have a right to do what they want. Hasn't Kejriwal been arrested under the laws set by Parliament and probably Congress itself?
That's exactly the point, sir. All these PMLA were the laws that were passed during the UPA time. And they got, Supreme Court upheld those provisions. Yes, those provisions may appear to be drastic or even draconian, as today the Congress says. But the point is, how do you deal with money laundering, sir? We have all forgotten why the laws came in the first place. The laws had to come in the first place because nobody was getting caught, everybody was going scot-free, and money laundering was a big thing that affected the vitals of our economy and terribly tore apart the way our politics was conducted. There is no doubt about it. But if you are seeing action being taken today, because agencies have got that kind of a mandate from the Prime Minister just to go after people with whatever evidence they are able to gather, that's a big change that has happened. The same agencies, same powers they had, but with the kind of push that they are getting from the Prime Minister, not as a sort of wreaking vengeance on the opposition, as the opposition is trying to say, but some of these are serious cases of corruption. Otherwise, you tell me, sir, 2G people accused were just let out. The lower court gave them that kind of a clean sheet. Sir.
Sir, the only way to counter countries like Germany, Canada, US making tall statements is to hit them back with their own acts of omission and corruption. That's the way they'll keep quiet, because the thing, they have much more weightage and baggage. I'm sure the Indian government is aware of all that. They are being, they are trying to stay above the fray and not go down to that level. But at some point of time, you have to hit back. That's my 2 cents. Next one, please. Mr. Bharani wants to know what exactly makes the opposition think that because certain portion of the population thinks Modi is bad, they could get away with corruption. It's not like these guys are not corrupt.
Well, the opposition wants to show that Modi's regime has been as corrupt or if not more like ours was, but that's not a big issue. But then why do you believe Modi? If you think the anti-corruption is his strongest point, then we want to puncture holes in that. Because they feel that a lot of traction that Modi gets is because of the kind of integrity that his leadership shows. That is what is worrying opposition, sir. Because whatever charges they have set against the Prime Minister per se does not stick. They have not been able to convince electorate on that. And of course, those who are already convinced that Modi is no good for this country, they were there since 2013, 2014, that they are not a new lot. Those numbers have not added or decreased because they oppose him on certain ideological grounds. I mean, they are not changing their mind. But their voices are louder than those who support him sometimes.
Next question, please. Rohit Akshay wants to know, Jai Sri Ram, why is the Delhi court delaying Kejri's hearing now that he has been arrested? Who do you think is in the race for Delhi CM? We have actually answered this question, so I think we can skip this one.
Court is not delaying it. Court is following the proper procedure. There is no delay. He wants overnight hearings, late night hearings, special hearings. That the court is not entertaining, neither the Supreme Court nor the High Court.
Thank you so much, Shekharji. A lot of stuff covered today, and we'll have to wait and see in the next few weeks. It's going to be extremely busy. Do keep tuning to us. We have information. We give you insight that perhaps others don't look at in that amount of depth. Shekharji brings with him a world of experience of having covered several elections. So your time is well spent at PGurus. That's all I can say. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Thank you, Shekharji. See you on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.